Hi there. Welcome to this little session. I am happy that you are here. This session is called the Being in the Now session. And according to what I've seen and studied, trauma just of this life has a way of trapping us in the past, making it harder for us to be present. So let's work on this topic for just a few minutes, and maybe we can shift some things that will help us get out of the past more often and in the present. That will make us more available for the now. So we'll work with three images today. Go ahead and take a deep breath and center yourself. Okay, the first image is called the cane. And the tool we will be using for this one is a little colored pencil drawing. I call this one Being Encouraged. And the thing that we're going to be encouraged to do, encourage about, is to be more in the moment. So support with courage and being in the moment right next to us as we work. Okay, go ahead and take a deep breath. Okay, imagine a cane or walking stick that's used to being used every day. It helps a man walk around the little town where they live, and often the man greets friends and they have amusing conversations. But lately, the cane has been sitting in the corner by the door, ruminating on the thing that happened the week before. One day, while it was out with the man had a fall, and the cane has been in the corner ever since. The cane hates sitting in the corner, just thinking about that terrible fall. The man was hurt and yelled out when he fell, and the cane was thrown aside into the corner. What did the cane do wrong? Did the cane cause the man to fall? Is this what the cane deserves? Emotions are coming up for this cane. They are self-loathing, sadness, hopelessness. This cane feels so forsaken. Allow those to come up just for a moment. We're going to take a breath out on these, breathe out on these, the self-loathing, sadness, and hopelessness. You can tap along with me if you like. Imagine these things leaving your body as you breathe it out. Two more big breaths out. Imagine that it's starting to get late in the day, and whatever shred of hope that this cane had of going out with the man today is already dead. Imagine the cane's surprise when the man comes to the corner and grabs it. He takes the cane out for a little walk with him, and the man walks very slowly but steadily. Imagine the man meeting an old friend in the street and telling him about how he tripped on a rock last week, and now he's on the mend. He's doing much better. Imagine the cane just feeling lighter and lighter just by overhearing this conversation. The man is getting better. He tripped on a rock, and that had nothing to do with the cane. Now letting go of self-blame. Just like that cane, let's breathe it out. Do one more big breath out. So imagine the cane realizing a hope where it again goes out with the man every day and where it does not dwell in the past. The cane now has a hope for this reality and it feels so joyful and the cane feels so relieved. Just allow the feelings of this to come up. Let's breathe it in. Two more big breaths in. Excellent. Okay, image number two is the tiny pine tree. And we are going to use this tool here of this orange calcite to support us in growing in our understanding. Here's our fancy, awesome little orange calcite sample sitting right next to us. So go ahead and center yourself for a moment and imagine a tiny pine tree. This little pine tree is out in the forest, surrounded by other types of trees that are very different from it. All of the other trees have lost their leaves, and the little pine tree is the weirdo that not only has needles, but it keeps them on as the winter gets cooler. Imagine the loneliness of this little pine tree. It doesn't feel as though it has a connection to any of the other trees around it. Imagine this loneliness um, coming up very big for this little tree, as well as humiliation. Why am I so different? It says. Just allow that loneliness and humiliation, those feelings to come up a little bit. We're not going to stay here. We're not going to breathe them out. We're going to do 4 big breaths out. Imagine these feelings leaving your body, loneliness and humiliation. Imagine now that a family is walking through the forest. There's a father, a mother, and a couple of older school-aged children, a boy and a girl. They have a cart and a shovel, and they seem to be looking for something specific. They look beneath all the big trees. We won't find it here, says the father. There are no pine trees here. The girl points to the little pine tree. Here it is, Dad. She's acting as though she's made a really important discovery. The family all gathers around the little pine tree and admires it. Its trunk is so straight, says the mother. It has plenty of branches for our ornaments, says the brother. The father just gets out the shovel and starts to dig. The pine tree is dug up, roots and all. At first, it's not sure if it can even survive being separated from the earth. At first, the process stings a bit and it's in a little bit of pain. But then the father lovingly wraps its roots in burlap. The family cart the tree home as if it is a guest of honor. It gets placed in a massive pot in the corner of their home. It gets water and it gets adored some more. As the weather gets colder, the family adorns the tree with ornaments and spend time together around the tree. These people accept and enjoy the things about the pine tree that made it so different from its tree neighbors back in the forest. They love that it's small and can fit in their house. They love that it smells like pine, and they love its needles that it doesn't drop during the cold weather. Imagine this tree feeling so much self-acceptance when it realizes that it is acceptable and lovable just the way it is. Let's breathe that in. Feeling that one coming up really big in my throat for some reason. I'm going to do 3 more big breaths. You can pause here if you feel like you need to do more. This isn't in my script, but I feel like we should do some affirmations here. Let's say I am lovable and acceptable just the way I am 3 times. I am lovable and acceptable just the way I am. I am lovable and acceptable just the way I am. I am lovable and acceptable just the way I am. Breathe that in. Imagine that the ground eventually thaws and this little tree is planted outside in a little wooded area behind the home. Every tree there is a pine tree. The little pine now has family, connection, and a place where it feels like it belongs. I belong here and I am safe, says the little tree. Breathe that in. Now, the little tree got its roots wrapped in burlap. That wouldn't feel good to us, so imagine being wrapped in a nice soft blanket. I belong here and I am safe. Breathe that in. Okay, here's image number 3. And here is our tool. It is a blue lace agate. And this little agate is to help support us in feeling some peace. That's what I believe that it will be supporting us with today with this image. Doesn't it have some great patterns to it? I just love this piece. Okay, so image number 3 is called the map. Imagine a map. It is wrinkled and old. Imagine the traveler, just as wrinkled as the map. And he unfolds this map and he's holding it, and the traveler seems to be hesitating. I have been focused on this path my whole life, and now I can't read the map, he says in disbelief. There's quite a lot of horror here because of the great attention that this man's placed over time on this map over the course of his life. And now that he's in a position to follow that map and actually take the path, the route markings are obscured by wear from him opening the map, looking at the map, touching the routes over and over again over the years. Feel that futility coming up for the traveler, that horror and that huge regret. It feels super, super big, especially in my throat. All that attention he's placed on his plan has actually obscured his path now that it's time to take it. Let's breathe that out. Very nice. If you feel that you need more time with this image, go ahead and pause here. Otherwise, we'll continue. Imagine a young man on a horse approaching this traveler. Are you lost? He asks. The traveler has no choice but to accept the young man's help. And they travel together. The traveler discovers that the young man has a map similar to his, but the young man's is crispy and new and is a more recent printing, of course. So imagine the young man leading the way and our traveler being there to offer advice about the dangers that they will face. Feel the satisfaction of the traveler as he uses his experience in the moment to help someone else as well as help himself. Go ahead and breathe that in. Breathe it in. Let's breathe that in one more time. So those are all the images for this little session. Thank you for joining me. I hope you felt some shifts in this, and I hope that if you found this video helpful, that you will subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Have the most beautiful day. Bye.